Sagittarius, hey, I am here to do your second bonus wild card read for this month because 2 months in a row you were the top highest viewing sign at BroadCoven. You tend to always earn a bonus spot, and now you're getting a double dose because I got a little behind on the bonus read. So you get two this month. You open the month with a bonus read, and now we're going to dive in and do something just a little on the fly. I don't really have a plan for your bonus read, no topic in mind. I'm just kind of dipping into your energy. And I did get an interesting download that came in as soon as I sat down and just sort of tuned into the Sagittarian energy signature. I heard I want to ride my bicycle. And that's a Queen song, okay? The song is called Bicycle Race, all right? And I want to point out these lyrics right here because I feel like they're sort of playing into your situation. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. You say black, I say white. You say bark, I say bite. You say shark, I say, hey man, Jaws was never my scene. And there's a line that goes after that that I feel as a Gen Xer, I can't even repeat because they kind of make a little diss on Star Wars, okay? And I feel like I can't do that. Star Wars was a real pivotal moment for all Gen Xers. And you may be dealing with somebody like this, right? You might be into things that some people consider like a little nerdy, or maybe they think they're outdated, or maybe they think you're into sort of like frivolous things, you know. Some may feel like you're still a little immature or you need to grow up. I mean, Sagittarians are known to have a very youthful spirit. I think a bicycle race, it makes me think of BMX bikes. It makes me think of, doing jumps off of, boards that you set up on the dirt track near your house. Like, it just reminds me of childhood memories. So there might be a little bit of this throwback energy coming in for you. Certainly, we're in a big retro period right now. We got Mercury retrograde, we have Venus retrograde. So I could see how this energy could come in. And there's some interesting alignments happening with Neptune too. So that can give sort of like a dreamy, like clarity to what's rolling out here. Interesting, dreamy, like clarity. You don't necessarily think of like the dream time space as being a space of clarity, right? It's more often viewed as an escape or sort of like a place of imagination, that maybe that's actually what you need right now for clarity in a certain situation. Maybe you need things to take on more of a dreamy tone. Maybe things have become too stark and contrasted in your life. Perhaps you're dealing with somebody who's just like your polar opposite. You may be feeling a little burned out on some of your connections. These can be any kind of connections. I mean, it could be an intimate connection. Some of you are getting out of intimate connections. It doesn't do it for you anymore. The thrill is gone. Ooh, something wanted to turn up. A whole section of the deck wanted to turn up there. Ooh, with the coffin full of tacos, full of snakes. So yeah, that talks a lot about intimacy there. All right, intimacy there. Things that were done under the light of the moon. Things that have been a little concealed. Things that have been a little clandestine. Thinking about old connections too, old hookup energy. Maybe doing a little review of your little black book of the past. Maybe seeing the march of time. Recognizing you're getting older, looking at who you've been interacting with in your social circle, romantically, and just noticing the polarization, noticing how much you're not on the same page as some people, noticing a stark contrast there. I did get a message too about one journey comes to an end and a new one begins. So I do feel like there is some long road you've been trudging here that you're about to close out. And perhaps you're going to hop on your bike and you're going to ride where you like. Maybe you're tired of somebody telling you what you need to do and how you need to do it. That's quite possible. Okay. You could be thumbing your nose at There's admonishments or shoulds. That would be quite Sagittarian, I have to say. But it was funny too, because that last line there, hey man, Jaws was never my scene. It made me think of that band back in the 90s, Great White, and their song Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which I believe was a cover. I can't remember who originally did it, but you might be dealing with a situation like this, okay? You might have been in a space in your life like this before, where you took a gamble on something and you felt like you really got bit in the butt for it. You feel like you kind of want to like push that edge again though. It's like there's something inside of you that's sort of spurring you on. Like, come on, man. Maybe because you used to be more daring, maybe because you used to be more wild and free and you want to capture a little bit of that essence that you feel got lost to the past, all right? You're trying to reclaim a part of yourself, right? You don't want to trudge a long road anymore. You want to ride your bike. You'll get there quicker. You'll enjoy the ride along the way too. Okay. You could be dealing with somebody that feels like you were a little rough with them, a little harsh with them. They might have their hackles up around you. They may feel like if they take a shot in your direction that it's going to cost them. Okay. They may feel like you're the one who's going to bite them. And, they've been there before. They don't want to deal with it again. All right. So I do feel like there is maybe a little bit of this sort of coy energy coming in here, or a little bit of apprehension, and yet bicycle race. Interesting bicycle race. Some of you may actually be wanting to get into bike riding as a way to just sort of like get yourself in shape this coming into. Maybe you got like knee issues, so you're looking for something that might be a little bit easier on your body than running. Yeah, you're looking for something low impact, but you also want to enjoy what you're doing. You might be getting a bike. You might be getting a brand new bike. Some of you might be getting into a bike race. I mean, it's possible. I could see that. I could see that. So kind of funny opener message. We're just going to expand off of this and just see what wants to come in for you. Okay, working with the Arcane BS deck to open up here. Yeah, look at that. You're looking to ride forward in a brand new way. And I do feel like we got the new moon coming in tomorrow in Aries. So it is the opening of a brand new cycle. And also with the energy around that new moon, there is a real definitive point where it's sort of like, well, that was then and this is now. So there is some road that's coming to a close for you. You're not going to go down a certain road anymore, but I do feel like you're ready to kind of like just push the envelope a little bit. You may feel a little apprehensive about it, but you feel like I kind of have to go for this. I have to head in this direction. You know, there's a direction you want to head in. And you might have had a lot of caution around it. You may have even been telling yourself it's not the smartest idea, but I feel like you're going to hedge your bets here a little bit. I think this will really come into focus with you with the full moon that comes in next, which I believe will be in the sign of Libra. Okay. So yeah, full moon in Libra coming in will really highlight something here, something maybe that you're wanting to bring into balance, but bring into balance your way. All right. You want to do something your way. I think you've been doing something according to the dictates of others, or maybe to keep other people happy, or maybe just to get them off their back. You're like, no, time's up on that. I want to ride it where I like. I want to take this trip and I want to ride it my way. I want to ride it where I like, with who I like. Okay. Yeah, there is something that's really beginning here. The feral nerd in you may have been awakened. Okay, we did bring that piece in. So I knew I had to mention the Star Wars for a reason, okay? This might be you. You may be somebody that, is not like everybody else. You got, your own interests. Not everybody gets what you're into. Not everybody digs the same things you do. You may be a gamer, you may be into role play, you may be into D&D or Magic the Gathering. You might like movies like Star Wars, or you could be a Trekkie, this kind of energy. Or you could even be a history buff, like you're just fascinated with history. and you can really get into it. But there's something here that you're into that a lot of other people perhaps don't get, or maybe they think, haven't you grown out of that yet? But I feel like there's somebody here that you really recognize them. It's sort of like mirroring your energy, I feel. Perhaps they're into some of the same things you are. I do see with the rabbit here, there might be a little bit of fear of exploring a particular connection. And this can be any kind of connection. I mean, certainly it could be somebody you have romantic interest in, but it could also be somebody that just intrigues you, or somebody that reminds you about a wild part of yourself that you've been suppressing for too long, and now you're really ready to let it come out and play. All right? It awakens your feral side. There's something you want to explore here, but I do see there's like a little fear attached to it because once bitten, twice shy. And yet some kind of judgment has been made in this situation. There is going to be a new beginning. Now, you could have somebody that's a bit of a feral nerd themselves, and they're really looking in your direction. And, they're about to reach out and touch someone here. Okay, they want to pick up the phone and give a call, reach out and touch someone. That's like an old slogan. I can't even remember. What was that for? Was that for the Yellow Pages? Was that for Pac Bell? I'm really aging myself here, but this could be something that sort of has that quality to it. It's a little bit of a throwback energy. What do we got here? It could be a past intimate connection. We do have the pupa vomiting on cats here, okay? It could also be something that's been a little clandestine. This could be like a secret attraction too. I could see that, something you've kept under wraps, or somebody here has kept their feelings hidden toward you, right? Actually, with the two cats here, there could be a little bit working both ways, You may find an attraction to someone or be intrigued by someone. They feel the same way. There definitely is some kind of like sensual overtones here for sure. So I do feel like for a lot of you, this attraction does have that quality to it. Okay, it could be somebody you might want to have a little innuendo with, let's say. All right. And something is just getting started here. But there's a need to maybe like sort of build oneself up for it with Papa Macho here. It's like, okay, yeah, I've been done for a few times here. We see Papa Macho's got a lot of swords running through him there. He's got some arrows. Particular bull by its horns. And I think the bull by the horns that you're really taking control of here is your free agency to make up your own mind about what's right for you. 1313 on the clock, double fours there. So this is definitely about you coming into a place of your own sense of inner stability, knowing what's right for you. It's also like a power up moment. And I do feel like there is power that's meant to be shared here with another through some kind of collaboration. I think you're finally making a choice about what direction you want to go in. You've been sort of divided. It's like you've been split in two because one part of you keeps sort of like staying in the lane you've been in, but it doesn't give you the kind of freedom you want to explore what you're wanting to explore here. And the other part of you feels like really drawn to head in a more progressive direction here. So I feel like you're about to reach that point where there's a complete severing of the old path and you step on the new here. For some of you, you could have taken a particular Taurus, by the horns. You could have been dealing with somebody who was stubborn or intractable, could be somebody born in the year of the ox. And you said, look, I can make up my own mind here. I can make my own choices here. There may have been some part of you that had to sort of like prep yourself for that, sort of ready yourself, steady yourself, get into sort of a strong position to have a certain confrontation as well. That may be something that's coming up and it's very decisive. There's like some decisive communication here. It makes things very clear. And then it ends this place of indecision, I feel. Yeah. And it's interesting because right here we have future not found. Okay. So you may also sort of need to brace yourself for this big leap because there's something about the future is concealed from you for a reason. There's something about taking the leap itself that emboldens you in a certain way that's really necessary for your soul's development at this time. So maybe you're used to sort of knowing what feels right or sensing what's up ahead, but you might feel like you're dealing with a little bit of a blind spot here. Like, I don't quite know what I'm going to encounter heading in this direction. You may be questioning yourself a lot about this. You may have headed in a particular direction that you thought was your future and recognize that that wasn't the way. Like, my future is not found where I am right now. So there's something that needs to radically shift to bring it more into alignment with the vision I have for myself. That's what I feel. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a cut of the deck here, just cap that off, and then I want to bring in some other energies around this for you. Yeah, I mean, you're taking a stand here to regain creative control over your life. Some of you may be standing up to another woman, okay, who felt like she had control over your life. This could even be your mom. You know, she gave birth to you, so she feels like she should kind of be able to plot out your destiny for you. And you're like, no, I got my own ideas about what's right for me. For some of you, masculines, you're facing off with a feminine here who's really tried to control your moves too much. And you're like, no, I need to have more freedom. The feminine is coming in really strong here. There is a sense of feeling like a pawn at one point and preparing yourself for a checkmate moment. I also believe that there's a little something special here you're brewing. You got your own kind of magic you're brewing here to transform a situation. And you do have your eyes on a certain direction, a certain prize. It's funny because where I feel like you don't really know what's up ahead, I think a lot of that has to do with you sort of heading in a direction that isn't oriented toward your future. And that's why you feel like you don't have any connection with what's up ahead. I feel like when you take a stand, whatever this is, when you have this turn the tables moment here, it's like you regain creative control of your vision, your life, your choices. And from there, your instincts kick in. That's the transformation point for you. So I like this energy. This is real good energy coming in here with instinct. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, you're putting an end to the bottom feeders in your life. You're also tired of dealing with more of like a subversive kind of reality where everything's cloaked and everything's hidden and I have to cover up certain parts of myself and I can't just like let it fly. I can't be open. Everything has to be secretive. I think you're really calling some stuff out. I also think you're calling out some elements that have been sort of operating beneath the surface that have been causing a lot of issues in your life that in some cases have caused arguments for shots to be fired, okay? It could be that you're calling out certain aspects of yourself that have held you back, but I also feel like you've been dealing with other people maybe that have been sort of like feeding off of you in some way energetically, or maybe with what you provide them, you're kind of putting an end to that. Also, these could be people that just had too much control, too much say about your future. Let's go ahead and pull out the Kipper deck on this, see what we got. Ooh, yeah. There's definitely something you're bringing to an end here because you recognize that it is not going to call in the happiness that you seek. All right. And very strongly with number 19 there, okay? So one journey ends for a new one to begin, all right? This message coming through pretty strongly for you. 1927 on the clock, yes. So I do feel like you have to open up to an experience where you sort of have to be a lone wolf for a little while. You have to go your own way. And that's part of the journey too, all right? But there's something about then hop on your bike, you know. I think that you might actually enjoy going your own way for a bit too. I feel that, you know. because I think there's been too many other elements, other people, other factors that have had too much say so in how you move forward. And so there's something liberating about that. Yeah, you definitely have been dealing with like a karmic community matter here, something that's been frustrating. There might also be some kind of divisive element that's been operating within your community. This can be within your social circle. This can be with people you work with. It can even be within your family. And I feel like it was a blind spot for a while, but something's being lit up for you here that you're seeing very clearly. And it's helping you to eliminate what's been causing issues. And it's also gaining you creative control. I like this, okay? For some of you, it's gaining creative control of your work. Maybe you've been listening to other people's input in your work too much, and it's sort of like really just following your own way, even if you're doing it very organically and you're not sure what the result will be. Maybe you've been sort of following trends, or you've been following in the footsteps of others here. You're regaining creative control. There's something about that. Creative control, okay? If you've been in a band, you might be choosing to do more sort of solo project here, doing something on your own. You got your own ideas. You want your voice to be heard. Maybe you've always been sort of a backup role in some way in a creative situation, and you're wanting to take center stage. You're wanting to have your creative vision come forward the way you see it, all right? This energy coming into. Anything else here, Kipper? For Sag? Oh, yeah. Ooh, courthouse coming in there. Courthouse that brings with it some kind of change. Bottom of the deck, a gift, okay? Interesting. So some of you, I mean, this could be around some kind of creative project, something that's your brainchild. This could be around something that was stolen from you creatively. And this is about restoration here. A change coming through for a judgment made in your favor in relation to this. It brings some kind of gift onto your path here, something you've been waiting for a long time. All right, this is something being freed up that was held up, perhaps in litigation for some of you. It could be something that was left to you as well. Somebody who passed on, they left you some kind of inheritance or some kind of gift that you haven't received up to this point. I also feel that it could be in relation to like a creative project or your work, something that was your brainchild, and there's been some kind of underhanded dealings here, somebody trying to take credit for your work. I do feel like something's going to be balanced out here and rectify that situation for you that will turn out in your favor. It feels like it's the bright spot after dealing with a lot of troubles, a lot of blockage, maybe even lack of visibility or lack of recognition for your work or something you put out there because there was interference. Yeah, something shady, okay? And that creative control is coming out so strongly for you. You might also be trademarking something. You might be taking some steps to protect your vision too, protect the creative vision that's coming in. And with that, ooh, look at this. We have Coven coming in with the Lovers. And a message coming in relation to this. Okay, so this might all be the result too of a relationship coming to an end, right? That might be solidified. You might be getting papers, okay? Somebody might be filing for divorce. For those of you in a committed relationship, some of you may be receiving some kind of legal notice here or confirmation that the divorce is final, or that some kind of dispute has been rectified here. I feel like it's in your favor because it feels like a gift to you. There's some kind of luck around this. And perhaps that was what was tying up your creative control, just your ability to have the kind of new beginnings you want in your life and in the direction you want to head in. This could even be some kind of partnership you had in a labor of love, all right? I can see it. It's coming in pretty strongly like that. So it could be, you were partnering with somebody on a business project, or creatively you were partnering on something. Somebody tried to steal your thunder, tried to steal what was your creative brainchild here, and something's getting resolved. Something's being restored here. Even though this connection's come to an end, it doesn't mean you should lose your creative vision here. It seems like it's your property, and there's something you're seizing control of here. That's what it looks like. Okay, any other details about this for Sagittarius, please? Yeah, one journey ends for a new one to begin. Some of you, there's elements of all of this throughout your storyline, the ending of certain connections, certain partnerships, that this brings a gift in your direction. It also brings a restoration of what is rightfully yours. It has sort of a turn the tables kind of moment. You finally feel like you're in a more empowered position to do what you want to do, go where you want to go, do it your way, right? But I do feel like either you're in this position or you're dealing with somebody that's in this position, and there's a desire to come together with someone here, or to go for a certain opportunity where there's a bit of reticence because it's like, oh, I tried this before, it didn't work out. I don't want to get burned again, you know, that kind of vibe around this scenario here. But it looks like there's a gift. I mean, this looks positive to me. Okay, I'm going to do a cut of the deck here on this because no more wants to come out there. Ooh, see, imprisonment. And on the other side, we got a mature woman. Okay, so I see this energy here. If there, and behind the mature woman is a mature man, okay, and then we got marriage right behind that. You see what I'm saying? So this very well could be the ending of a relationship, a connection, where one really felt like it was a binding influence, okay? Felt stuck. Or you could have been in a situation where somebody wanted marriage and you're like, no, I don't want that. I want to be a free spirit. Vice versa, you know, just depends on what side you're on. But there is real strong indication here about the ending of a partnership because it felt too confining. It felt too restrictive. It wasn't what you were looking for. And maybe this is something you've been trying to decide for those of you that have been in this kind of situation. Like, should I leave this? Is it right for me to leave this? Or maybe you always thought you wanted marriage and now you're like, I don't know. Or it could be the opposite side. You could have never wanted marriage. You could have been real free spirit, you know. I want to just do what I want to do when I want to do it. And now you're dealing with somebody who's sort of the mirror of who you used to be in younger days. They're wanting that freedom while you're wanting a commitment. Somebody in this situation, whether this is romantic commitment, it looks very strongly leaning in that direction, or whether we're looking at some kind of collaborative partnership here, business partnership, creative partnership. Somebody wants out because they feel like it's really just holding them back. And this is the right choice because we've got double 11s coming in here. You know, the 6 and the 5 makes 11. And then we got the 29, that's 11. Also, new moon coming in tomorrow on the 29th. Something will probably really be crystallized and clear around this, okay? One final round here. I'm going to pull out my shadow light playing cards. Yeah, somebody's wanting more options. Somebody's wanting to explore their options. But they have a lot of anxiety around this, just broaching the subject, really heading in a particular direction that they feel a lot of alignment with the theory of 11 here. 2912 on the clock. I mean, again, the 11 energy. 11 goes to 12, the most magic hour of all, okay? Don't be so scared of what could be truly a magical moment, all right? When fantasy becomes reality because you finally got over fear and you saw what was on the other side, everything that you've been waiting for here, right? I do feel like there's been too much loyalty to something that really keeps one held back in this situation. And that is about to shift big time. And if you don't hear the call now, you're going to hear the call pretty soon with that Aries new moon coming in. Ooh. There's that blocking energy. See, somebody's not going to like it. And I think that's what you're worried about here. You're worried about the third party element in this situation that could be sort of like the fly in the ointment that makes everything come undone here. You know that there's something you have to kind of like walk away from in order to be true to yourself, because whatever this is keeping you in this place of just feeling like you're lacking something, like something's missing, with the 5 of diamonds coming up in the shadow here. But you may be worried, like, can I make this work? Like, what if I leave that behind? Will I be successful on my own? Will I be able to really feel fulfilled? Or is it just that, you know, I'm kind of like deluding myself, thinking I could actually have what I'm dreaming of having here? Like, you might be trying to talk some sense into yourself, but I see that when you do this, you take this leap, it does work. But what's sort of like weighing over you are the times that you really just rushed ahead with something. You thought it was going to be like the thing you were looking for, and then it really fell flat. And that was difficult, you know, to deal with that kind of reversal, that kind of loss. But there's something here that is time. It's come to an end with the Ace of Spades. Something does need to come to a close here. And I feel like it's time to kind of like get back in the saddle again, you know, give something another go. All right. Gamble on yourself here, Sag. It's time to get back a little bit of that optimism, a little bit of your enterprising spirit. You can go your own way with something. You can shoot your shot again. The only time we really fail is when you completely just like throw in the towel and you give up and you settle for complacency, because it's safer. Like, who wants to do that? Right? Now we got a lot wanting. Oh, we got too much wanting to talk there. All right. Let me look at this, because this is the shadow element. It came out and it's covered by all this mess here. Yeah, you've been in like a holding pattern. All right. You haven't been making any moves here. It's like there's trepidation about making a move. There's something you really want to come in here. I see that's at the basis of the matter. Like, you're hoping for something, but you're like frozen here. Like, you're not taking an action. You're not taking an action. You're afraid of how it's going to challenge your security if you go for what you're truly wishing for here, what would truly bring you fulfillment. You know, you do have something in your life where it's working. You know what I mean? It's working, but it comes at a cost with the 10 of spades here. Like, there's a lot that you have to sacrifice in order to make this arrangement work. And in a lot of ways, you're not being true to you. And I think this is something that you've already seen. You've already identified this with the King of Spades here. Like, you've been able to have a discerning moment in relation to this. Like, you know what you do need to cut off, what you do need to cut out here. But again, you don't, because of the security it provides. But it's really a false sense of security. Because how can it be secure if it's not being true to you? You're really compromised in that situation. And this is the part of you that's going to start getting a little louder here with the King of Clubs. Your energy coming in really strong there. Your fire is going to start coming forward. You're going to want more. You're not going to be willing to settle for less. I also feel like you don't want to be defined by these circumstances that are around you right now. You want to be able to define yourself. There's something here about individuation that's really important to you at this time. You want to be in charge of how, you know, you're seen by others, because you want to show up as you are. This feels very, very much in alignment to you with the 4 of clubs coming up in the light. But you are dealing with a Queen of Spades character here, all right, that perhaps has opposition to this. Now, this could be somebody that you're currently aligned with, somebody you're currently partnered with, perhaps. This could be the person that you are cutting off. They're feeling a bit bitter, a bit cold, a bit, how can I put this? it's almost like they're in a space where there's just no room for negotiation. Like it has to be their way or no other way. And that isn't in alignment with you at all. Like I do feel like something is falling out of harmony here. Where you once felt like you were in alignment with it, you aren't anymore. You recognize there's not fulfillment here. There's been a lot of loss in this situation. And this is a little bit of divine play, okay? You needed to go through this experience because it had to reflect something to you that you weren't willing to acknowledge before. You were really closed off to seeing a particular truth before, but it's about to become very clear to you. And once it's clear to you, then all of a sudden you'll know what direction you need to invest in here with the King of Diamonds. There's something you're going to discover here. There's something you're going to learn. And whatever you learn here makes you feel like, all right, let me play my hand. I want to get in this game. I'm willing to go for it. I'm willing to invest in this direction. I think it can pay off. I'm not going to be blocked to this anymore. I'm not going to have my guards up anymore. Yeah, okay. So maybe I betrayed myself back there, you know? Or maybe somebody really did me in. Yeah, I might have gotten burned once, but does that mean every experience is going to be like that? Does it mean every experience has to be full of drama, full of conflict? I mean, maybe you're anticipating this. You might feel like if you move in a certain direction, you might get a lot of pushback, maybe from this particular character that's especially intractable here. You might feel like you'll have somebody really gunning for you, but if you don't act on this, you're betraying your heart. That's what I see. You're betraying your heart. So what comes in here, okay? Because this is the light influence. This is the light that's calling you forward. Ah, I see this. You're wanting to reclaim a victory that eluded you before. You want to take another shot at something. You want to see if you can turn it around. Isn't this interesting? See the 4 clubs there in reverse? Like you recognized that there was something here, some alignment that you had in place that was blocking the true victory you want here. And this is what's shifting for you. You're finally gaining the perspective you need to actually bring into alignment what you truly are looking for here. All right, let's do a cut of the deck and see what we got. All right. We know that something wasn't cracked up to be what you thought it would be. This is like fairy tale gone wrong. This is the Grimm's fairy tale when we get to the cautionary part of the story where we see how things can come undone when we don't really listen to what our hearts are telling us. But I see that what you get on the other side of that rude awakening is the true alignment of what you've been looking for all along. And a certain dividing line is crossed that brings you onto the path of heart. And it looks like partnering with something or someone who is the perfect mirror to you. Looks like you're finding a way through.